It's mowing through calls at the height of entertainment in sports radio on largely AM radio. The job of the host is to be so lazy that he makes the Ed on a mobile the guy who's providing the content. So this is how I want to do this. Basketball questions for Schefter. Football questions for Van Gundy. 786-456-4837 is the telephone number. Let's go ahead and do this with Chris. Chris, you're on with Adam Schefter. Go ahead. What do you got?
Lonzo Ball's future with the Lakers. Go.
So they got to be patient with him. He's displayed some talent. Still work on the outside. Like Lonzo there, bringing him along. What's your trade line? Like if you could trade me Davis, do something like that with the backstreet players, I'm all for it. No problem bringing him along slowly and making him a part of my future on the building.
Nathan, you're on with Adam Schefter. Go ahead.
Raptors, good, better, or best?
Best right now. Best in the East. The team to beat, with all due respect to the Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks. They put together a great job of players, great collection, chemistry. They got on in the Great White North, and I think Toronto is the team to beat. And don't you think, Stan?
Do they? And we're not talking to Stan right now. It's football question. If you have a football question for Stan, you can ask him. Otherwise, please don't speak to Stan. Thank you. Josh, you're on with Stan Van Gundy. Go ahead, Josh.
Yes, St. Nick or Drew Brees this weekend. Who's taking it home?
Nick Foles or Drew Brees, Stan?
I'm taking Drew Brees on.
Taylor, you're on with Adam Schefter. Go ahead, Taylor.
Hey, Schefter, do steroid-tainted guys and Clemens belong in the Hall of Fame?
Good question.
Good question.
Baseball outside the box, they do belong in the Hall of Fame. There are been enough guys that got in for far worse transgressions. Put them in the Hall.
Cody, you're on with Adam Schefter. Go ahead.
Hi, yes. Adam, I'd like to know, Clay, KD, and Dre having expiring contracts. What are the chances one of them stays, and where would the other two likely go if they didn't stay?
Yeah, there's no way that the Warriors can make that all work, as much as we all like to see that stay. Don't know landing spots. I don't want to ask any NBA experts that are around the studio with Stugotz and Dan right now, but I'm not up on that right now. I'm trying to keep up with NFL free agents, but I think it's going to be very difficult for Golden State to keep the band together.
Nazar, you're on with Adam Schefter. Go ahead, Nazar.
Shefty, who wins in a one-on-one basketball game, Antonio Gates or Tony Gonzalez? Congratulations on the engagement, Dan.
That guy got a lot in there in a short period of time. I think Tony Gonzalez had a prolific basketball career. I think if he got to the NBA, he would have been a high pick. Antonio Gates, great basketball player, but I'm going with Gonzalez.
Mark, you're on with Stan Van Gundy. Go ahead, Mark.
What are the Redskins' chances, and how far are they away?
You know, I had a guy one time, I'm going to describe it this way. I had one guy one time say about a player, he's not 1 year away, he's not 2 years away, he's just away.
All right, so that's Washington. All right, very good. James, you're on with Adam Schefter. Go ahead, James.
Oh, my goodness, the Wizards, we were so close. Now we're probably in the league again. What's going on?
James, it should be a fire sale in Washington. Everybody should be for sale. They should trade Beal. They should trade Satoransky. They should trade anybody and anybody to get as much draft capital as they could, then sign some of the Golden State players and rebuild that Washington Wizards franchise.
It doesn't help.
I once had a guy tell me, they're not two players. They're away.
All right.
Both franchises in Washington are away, right, Stan?
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely.
Stop talking to Stan, Adam, please. Thank you.
Unless you have a football.
Dan, that's right. Dan, you're on with Stan Van Gundy. Go ahead. Again, and Adam, if you have a football question, you can talk to Stan. Otherwise, do not talk to Stan. Dan, you're on with Stan Van Gundy. Go.
Stan, with all of your coaching expertise, have you considered the Bengals open position? I just want to know, just for my own sake, because I am a Bengals fan. I think you would do an awesome job.
Oh, that's amazing. I don't know a damn thing about football, so I don't agree on that. I guess if you gave me the best offensive coordinator and the best defensive coordinator and got me the best quarterback, I'd have a chance.
Yeah.
The Bengals away, Stan.
Yeah.
Stan.
Yes. Chris, you're on with Schefter. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, what's up, Chef? I want to know how far are the Hawks? The team's calling to start.
Well, let me say this. The moment they traded the right to Luka Doncic, I hated it. And I told people that right away. This is going to be a mistake that they're going to regret later on. And already you see Young may be a great player, and they do have the extra and they one pick from the Mavericks next year. How valuable is that pick going to be? They need to make some of these picks count. I just think that trading away Luka Doncic would be something that haunts that franchise for a long time.
Mike, you're on with Stan Van Gundy. Go.
Hey, Stan, what's the important thing the Falcons have to do to beat the Patriots?
Well, you're going to have to slow down Tom Brady and make sure he doesn't have the ball in his hands with a chance to win with 2 minutes to go.
Applicable analysis, no matter the year you're doing it. Zach, you're on with Stan Van Gundy. Go ahead, Zach.
10 years from now.
Go ahead, Zach.
Stan, what the Flacco do you do with Joe?
Well, they're obviously going to move him. I don't think there's any question. They've decided that Lamar's their guy going forward, and they're not going to keep Flacco around as a backup. So where he'll end up, I don't know. That's more a question for someone more knowledgeable than me.
No, it isn't. Tony, you're on. Tony, you're on.
We'll have more on later this week.
Tony, you're on with Adam Schefter. Go ahead.
What can the Pacers do to make the next step? They got mowed by the Celtics last night, and then what do they do with the 2 starting centers of Sabonis and Turner in the long run?
Oof. I love Sabonis. I think that guy is so efficient and such a productive player. I don't know their contractual situations. They need one more really good player to put with some of those guys, but I think they've done a great job collecting good young talent there in Indiana.
Ricky, you're on with Stan Van Gundy. Go ahead.
Miami Dolphins, how the and what the?
I have absolutely no idea. It's interesting. They got rid of a coach who was obviously pretty coveted elsewhere, so you wonder what's going on.
Joe, you're on with Stan Van Gundy. Go ahead, Joe.
Foles or Wentz?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Wentz is a better talent, but Foles has gotten it done when he's gotten the opportunity. So right now, I'd say, man, that's a tough one.
That's an unacceptable answer, and you're going to have to get
okay, I'm going to go Foles.
Thank you, Stan.
So you would trade Carson Wentz. Wow.
Stan, which part of this are you not understanding? I don't know, and that's a tough one.
Okay, here's the part I don't understand.
ESPN pays you.
Dan, here's the part I don't understand. Football.
Okay, that's the part. Terry, you're on.
And no one understands the Dolphins.
None of us do. That's right. Not even Schefter. Terry, you're on with Schefter. Go ahead.
Schefter, is it ever been so noticeable? So many teams have been tanking in the NBA to get the top 3 picks from Duke.
I have not seen that. I don't notice. They see the NFL. Well, I'm not took the NFL here, so let me refrain from using that example. There are just some bad teams in the NBA. It's not that the team tanking. These guys, to me, they're trying to win. I guess the front offices can sabotage. But I haven't noticed that. There are plenty of good players from Duke, and there's enough good talent in the draft.
Adam Schefter, Cleveland, tanking or incompetent?
You lose LeBron. What else do you expect? I mean, you're talking about a guy. Everything was built on what other talent have it shows how good he was that they went as far as they did and won all they did. Because when he leaves, crumbles.
Dan, Cavs, tanking, competent.
Front office is tanking and the team's in.
Jordan, you side with management. Even in football, you did with that
baseball guy.
Jordan, you're on. I'm Schefter. Go ahead.
Hey, you have 10 free throws. How many are you making?
I 50% throw shooter, which is better than some years.
Stan, did you do?
I'd make 10.
Wow.
Josh, wrong with Stan Van Gundy. Go ahead, Josh.
Coach Drummond and Howard, and then might have crazy.
Josh, you're on with Adam Schefter and Stan Van Gundy. Ask a question of Stan Van Gundy, please.
Stan, if Andrew Luck was named Andy and Andy Dalton was Andrew, would they have careers?
Wow.
Great question.
That's a great question.
Great question.
Andrew Luck would not really as good if he were in.